Can you believe what is happening? I'm not sure if you heard of the horrible news. Now, remember, last month on this channel, we covered how Europe was blazing hot. Spain, France, Italy, even the United Kingdom, people were jumping in public pools, public areas that had water to get away from the heat because the heat was toppling 100+ degrees Fahrenheit in Europe. And that was just the middle of July, end of June. But now I'm coming to you and we're almost into August. Get this. More than 250,000 people have been evacuated due to what now? Wildfires across Europe. We're going to break it down in this video. Let's talk about it because this is absolutely insane. 250,000 people have been evacuated from Spain and France, with some reports placing that number closer to 267,000. As evacuation orders continue to expand, these wildfires are not showing any signs of stopping whatsoever at all. South of France, south of Spain, in fact, some people, shout out to AP News for this information, are able to go to smaller cities in Spain to evacuate. But trees are burning down, homes are burning down. Madrid is on alert. Now for Spain, this is the first time in modern history that they have had any type of fires like this. Can somebody say it is judgment time? Can somebody say the world is going through birthing pains? Can somebody say that they understand the times that the earth is in, especially Western society? Because I think so many people falsely assume, and the Most High is just really showing you very clearly, the Most High Yah is showing you very clearly, yes, I am judging specifically Western society because these fires and these extreme heat temperatures are just battering the Western world right now. Meanwhile, in Mauritius and countries like Namibia, Botswana, South Africa, we're a little bit chilly down here. We're just chilling. There's nothing too prominent or too big happening right now. And this is to show you that the Western world is surely under judgment. Don't forget that we also had an earthquake in Texas. Now, this is something that's occurring more in modern times, but historically, Texas would not receive these earthquakes, and the earthquake was like 5.4 on the Richter scale. So it should give you pause and ask you, what the heck is actually going on here on this earth? Where should I be positioned? How do I prepare for the times ahead? And am I in the right location, or am I somewhere that may be getting battered here in the next couple of months or years? You should also know that France has appealed for international firefighting assistance as these massive fires threaten areas around Bordeaux, where tens of thousands have been forced from their homes. So when we say international fire assistance, the people that are most likely and already helping France and Spain through this detrimental process, which is very, very sad, my heart goes out to Spain and France. Spain is just a very beautiful place I would love to visit. But as we're talking about where their help would come from, these are the other European Union nations, places like Germany, places like Switzerland, Sweden. Even though United Kingdom is not in the EU, they could potentially assist as well. Now, we had something very similar to this happen in North America with Canada, but President Donald Trump wasn't really feeling it. He's like, these Canadian wildfires are getting out of hand. And instead of helping Canada and having that helping hand for the emergency, he actually told Canada, look, you are going to get some more tariffs. You're going to get some more fees because you cannot contain your wildfires. And I'm basically unavailable to help you. I have no interest in helping you. I only have interest in putting you into more trade wars, which, by the way, President Donald Trump has also announced not that flat 10% global tariff that he had last year. Now we are up to 15% global tariffs. Now, as I'm talking about this, it reminds me of the Mature Adult Intensive. We are on cohort 10. We begin August 9th. 4 people are invited, 4 weeks. We go through an intensive, and man, since we started it, here's what it used to look like. People would come in the process and they would go over week 1, finance and international banking. Week 2, we would go over residency options that fit their direct circumstance. Week 3, we would go over, hey, do they need a partner? Do they want somebody to move abroad with them and move in with them? because we have had alumni do that who meet somebody in the mature adult intensive and end up actually living together, traveling together, all of those sorts of things. And then week 4, wrapping up their strategy in the US so that they can live a global life, understanding AI, understanding investing, understanding how to move their money, but also how to generate money in the AI age, going over geopolitical risk factors, tying up all those screws and bolts so that they do not make a poor decision, saving them tens and thousands of dollars in stress, because you may know choosing the wrong country could end you up in a situation where you're in the south of France and you're like, what the heck is going on? You can avoid a lot of those mishaps when you have a global advisory team. Check out the link in the description. Go to www.journeywithus.com/services to read the Mature Adult Intensive Enrollment Guide. See if it's right for you to save $50,000, $40,000, $30,000, and years of stress, years of having high blood pressure, years of feeling like I want to exit the US, but I just don't know how. And as I was saying at the beginning of our process, when we launched in August of 2025, literally coming up on 1 year, and we have served 46 clients, I believe, through the sophisticated mature adult intensive. And when we first started out, people would be like, okay, I want to go to Rwanda, Kenya, maybe looking at Mauritius, not sure when I'm going to leave. But now, oh my gosh, the last 2 core cohorts, people will be in the cohort for 4 weeks, and then we literally meet them out here on the island within the next 8 weeks. It is the funniest thing. We have seen the progression of people that are on the fence and they're like, I don't know what I want to do, to now, since the Iran war has started, since the world is incrementally more unstable or unstable, for lack of a better term, people are like, hey, I'm getting out of here ASAP. I'm not wasting time. While those airplane tickets are affordable, I need to get out right now. I've seen your work. I've seen you've been abroad for 6 years with your family. You've had children while abroad. You've built cabins while abroad. You've built businesses, media companies, all the things, consulting, technology while abroad. I want to do the same thing, and I'm getting out sooner rather than later. I think it's such a beautiful thing, but I wanted to share that with you because you may feel that urgency too. Now, as I was saying, Spain has declared its first national wildfire emergency. So California is used to having wildfires. Canada is used to having wildfires. But Spain, this is their first emergency, and it's very, very big. It's huge. Like, let you see some clips right here, because these wildfires are absolutely insane. I mean, look at it. Fires off the west part of Madrid continue spreading under extreme heat and strong wind conditions. So you have the fire start somehow in the forest, and wood is very flammable, of course. And so then the wind just carries the fire all the way across. People have to flee from their homes. Old people, young people, children. It's so sad. And at least 1 death has been confirmed in Spain while firefighters were engaged across multiple fronts. Military units, thousands of firefighters, helicopters, aircraft, and assistance, again from other European countries, have been deployed as officials describe the fires as unprecedented and highly unpredictable. As an expat, as a traveler, as somebody in the diaspora that's looking for the places that you should go, we always tell people there are only just a few places in the world that you should even be thinking of being in. There's only a few places in Africa that you should think of being in. I was listening to a podcast from somebody, and they were talking about their life abroad in West Africa. I won't name the country nor the channel. But they were distraught. They were like, man, it's harder than I thought. And, I just couldn't relate to it. I just absolutely could not relate, because we have 2 types of people that are out here in the world. We have the super hyper complainers. And when you're a super hyper complainer, too emotional, you won't survive the end times very easily. Some of these people don't even believe we're in the end times. Leave a comment down below if you know we're in the end times. If you read your scriptures, and you can see, I was just in Deuteronomy 30 yesterday, which is just basically a replica of Deuteronomy 28, okay? And it's talking about the blessings, the curses. Choose life, choose Yah, don't complain. Be in the word. represent Yah in the best way possible, know his statutes, his laws, know how to not be an idol worshiper. All of those things are in Deuteronomy 30. That's just what I was studying on my Sabbath yesterday. But we have two types of people, and I want to give a similitude, which is the Exodus, the book of Exodus. This is one of my favorite stories because it's very close to home for me as a traveler, as someone whose main course and reason to travel was from reading the Bible. I want to be clear here. I did not wake up one day and I was like, let me just travel just for the heck of it. I, as a child, had no desire to be a traveler. I wanted to work in the States, live in a very uppity area called Dublin, Ohio, where there's like only 4% of Black people in the population, but that was just kind of my vibe because I grew up in an Ashkenazi Jewish neighborhood. That was my vibe, okay? And so I was literally called, and I heard the Most High saying, you need to get your family out of the United States. Not only do you need to get them out, but you need to go to Africa, and you need to not look back. You need to proceed, do as I say, and I'm going to show you where you're going to go. Similar to Abraham, I had no idea that Mauritius was even a thing back then. But in the Exodus story, and I can't remember the exact chapter, but I could guess because I'm decently well versed in where things are in the scripture. So I'm going to say this is probably around Exodus 18-ish. Exodus 20 is where the commandments and the laws are given. Exodus 23, things of that nature. So I'm going to guess it's around chapter 18-ish, in the teens, the late teens. And the Most High is getting the people out of Egypt. The Israelites have to flee Egypt because it's going to come under judgment, the 10 plagues, and they just listen ASAP. So that's the process where they're listening. They're going through the Red Sea. Pharaoh's chasing them. You know that story. Now, as we get further along, closer to Exodus, maybe in the 30s, chapter 30, you start to see some of the Israelites do something in the wilderness. They start to complain, or the Bible calls it murmuring. Now, if you were to look up a complaint or a murmur, it's basically any time we as humans, and America has a very huge culture of this, which is also why I just do not agree with American culture. I'm very disassociated from American culture for this reason. The Israelites begin to complain, and the things that they're complaining about are so insane. You can hear it today in people that move abroad. They start to complain about getting manna from the sky and how, the leeks of Egypt were better. People want the Doritos in America. It's like, I can't find my Doritos, and I can't find these candies that cause me to be diabetic, and this is horrible. If you are that person complaining about food at the end of the days, I just want to tell you that you've completely missed the mark. You've completely missed the mark, and you may just want to put on the mind of Yahusha, put on the mind of the Messiah, because for the things that are coming in 2030, if you are complaining about candy, chips, things that are so mundane that you feel may emotionally connect you, guess what? The Most High did in the wilderness. They complained against Moses, Miriam, and he just made the tents of Korah open up. He opened up the earth, and the people dropped in, quite literally. The complainers were just swallowed up into the earth. It didn't matter that they were trying to cause descent. It didn't matter that they were just complaining up and down and parading of complaints. And mind you, for the elect and for the chosen, who were at that time Miriam, Joseph, Aaron, and the people who were in that camp, they were outnumbered by the complainers. This is something that you're going to see in scripture a lot. They were outnumbered by the complainers, but the complainers had to fall into these nets and these traps that they ensnared them in. They had to fall into their complaints, because to the Most High Yah, I want to be very clear, complaining is a no-no. Complaining is a don't do this type of scenario. When you literally have fires across the world in Europe, people being unalived in America, Black people, Black brothers and sisters, mainly brothers right now, like Nolan Wells, may he rest in peace. I just can't fix my mouth to complain about such mundane things, because I know my Father will not be happy. I don't quite care that much what humanity thinks, but I do care if I start complaining and having this low-level mindset of complaints and, oh my gosh, it's this and that, while my brothers are dying, children are dying. And mind you, I have a 14-year-old son. And I just can't find it in my bones and the very nerves and tendons in my body to have one complaint about this beautiful life abroad, especially if it's about food. So I say this just as encouragement, but also a rebuke to tell you, if you are complaining, if you're a worldly person, if you're someone that does not understand the times, You need to get it, because it's not going to get better by the time 2030 comes. You're going to have humans walking with Neuralinks. You already have humans walking with Neuralinks. You're going to have humans that are hybrids with technology. And the main thing you're thinking about is food. The main thing you're thinking about is, oh, I miss this candy that I love to have. Please get some courage. Please get some strength. Please get that spirit of complaint out of you, because it's quite literally an entity. Just get it out of you, throw it to the side. But at the end of the day, Jeremiah 3:14 or 3:16 comes to mind. I'll end the video with that. He says to Jeremiah the prophet, I will call you, one from a family, two from a town. I read that in my scriptures. I said, oh, wow. People have the wrong idea about what travel is and being called. People think there's parties and there's this and there's get-togethers and there's all of this. He says, I'm going to call you one from a family, two from a town. So if you're like my family, my mother and brother are out here. My husband has an uncle that lives in Thailand. I have an aunt who lives in Jamaica. If you're like us, then you have quite a decent number of family members that are abroad. That's such a blessing, and something that I just can't fix my mouth to complain about. I like to just focus on blessings and focus on righteousness and focus on executing the Most High's will on earth in the capacity that he has given for me. So I wanted to share that with you. Read Jeremiah 3:14 and 3:16. It's one of those two. I can't remember which one it is, but it's probably best just to read those sentences and verses together anyways. And as you are moving abroad, as you are living your best life, as you are living your called life in Yah, when you are traveling abroad, whether it's Thailand, Spain, Portugal, Mauritius, South Africa, Angola, Rwanda, wherever it is, Kenya, remember why you left. Remember why you were called. Were you called by Yah? Are you here to understand end times prophecy and to build your Noah's Ark for the next generation? Or are you here to be like the ancestors in the wilderness that were just so drunken on complaints that they could not get it out of them? And the tents of Korah swelled up and the earth opened up and swallowed those complainers and the tents of Korah. Shalom, shalom. I'll see you in the next video. Whew, may Yah have mercy on France and Spain. But at the end of the day, these colonizers, he said, time is up for these ancient colonizers. Some are trying to repent, but there's also consequence, even with repentance. I'll see you in the next video.